Before Tony Cipriani joined the Leone family, examples of his father and how he moved, nothing to say the least, could top what he did, letting his mother tell him. But the thing was, he still was around accepting, playing a role that was wanted outside of his own personal wants. It's the example of the term grown sad man, by the way. When Tony got back to Liberty City, it was one person he went out of his way to avoid. That someone, as many know, was Ma Cipriani. But it wasn't fully because how he was treated by his mother up until being able to go back to Portland. But his silence was his attempt to come back around with things to change her mind about him. Tony would even see how others had the lack of respect toward their own mother. But this of course showing his unconditional love and respect he had toward his own.
Is that your mother on the phone? Sure. You're disgusting. Where's your respect?
Respect!
This also showed he knew simply the right and wrong things to do when it came down to his mother. But with their relationship, we'll see where that get him. At this point though, being back for some time, he would of course get a call.
Tony? It's your ma. How long have you been back in town? How come you don't come and see?
By this call, this made it think in a way Tony was tripping. But to say the least, we'll see why he didn't make it mandatory to visit her, trying to avoid the shame he brought upon her. And on her side, of course, it would look like the things she already had thoughts about when it came to Tony.
What's wrong with you? I'm your mother, for her holiness sake. Come on!
And it's also good to keep in mind Tony stayed with his mother up until he exiled, which was why the instant beratement would even show finally doing so.
Ma? It's me, I'm back.
Tony? Where the hell have you been? One so cool all the time you were away. They don't have phones where you were.
Oh, come on, Ma. You know I couldn't call.
A real man would have called his mother.
Already hearing how Ma Cipriani spoke on what a real man would do already shows she looked at Tony to, of course, lack within the world he was in. Not even understanding his boss was a paranoid wreck, so of course it would be no real contact. But knowing the life he was in, almost instantly she went to compare others just to show Tony what she felt he didn't have in him, from respect to even assets.
You could learn a thing or two from Giovanni Casa. He calls his mother every day. Now, he's a good man, and his Sicilian sausage is the best in town.
But how Tony looked at his mother's words, things would become trying to prove, putting him in a spot of serving her right, and him of course believing it.
Casa, but Ma, Casa ain't no good man. He's a pervert.
That's just a foul-mouthed rumor. What kind of man are you, Tony?
All right, Ma, whatever you say. Maybe I'll go give Giovanni a call, see what he's up to.
I think I'm in the mood for some loving. Who's gonna be Mama?
Tony took his time stalking out what he already knew about for his mom that was oblivious about the guy she held high. All she saw was a guy still around his mom. Even that guy having a mom tattoo was things Tony was looked at to his things to not be enough. Thinking that can change her mind about him though, that alone shows the problem. His mom again simply getting confirmation.
Hey, Ma!
Take a look at my photo. It's of your good man Giovanni Casa wearing a goddamn diaper.
Is this how you spend your time? Sneaking around in the woods, taking pictures of men? What is wrong with you, Antonio? You shame me.
But...
And diaper or no diaper, he's still a better man than you.
Again, how she looked at Tony, you can't really blame her. Although she didn't see his attempt, that simply boiled down to continuation. She would even call into a radio show, trying to figure out what really to do.
Hello? I listen to your show every day. It means a lot to an old woman.
I need some help with my family.
But even with this, shows her idea of Tony. Simply things that's going to hold him back, even revealing another gripe. That being, he stopped taking baths with her, making her think he didn't love her. But things like this simply shows the disconnect as far as what she thought their connection should have been and how deep things really were.
I come on here to talk about my family problems, about how my son does not love his mother. Real problems about a boy who is confused and lonely and will not take a bath no more with his mama.
Meanwhile, Tony still would attempt to make her see what she felt otherwise about her.
Ma! Ma! Come on, Ma, speak to me.
There's no more here for you no more, you coward. You can't fool me. I know why you don't move back in here. you're running scared of some triad.
Your father, God rest his soul, wouldn't let no one run him out of his own home.
And bringing up Tony's father shows simply her wanting him to fill his shoes, even if that meant him doing something that wasn't the case, alongside this about to start a war.
Mama!
But unlike you, your father wasn't yellow. Until this triad showed you some respect, you're no son of mine. A daughter, maybe, but not a son.
This is Toni Cipriani kicking your asses. Remember that name, fishheads.
And of course, he would continue to get beratement for not moving back in their next encounter, which of course led into killing a guy that was a mother's boy as well, only doing this to show he could be like his father.
Ma, I'm back!
Look at you. You look so thin. If you were still living here with your mother like a son should, you'd be eating right. And look at those cars you drive. You shame me, Antonio. Really you do.
People will think I brought you up wrong.
Well, what can I do, Ma? You know I'd do anything for you.
That Sickle boy's racing downtown today. If only you were more like him. He treats his mother with real respect. Of course, if your father was here, he'd win the race and take the smug grin off that Sickle boy's face. Yeah, it's making me glad. Your father was a real man. Good boy.
How Ma Cipriani implies things, she also wanted something to brag about when it came down to Tony, manipulating him to cut the competition in a way. At this point though, arrangements started to ironically be made, with her not seeing what she wanted out of him. Tony's attempts to even prove earlier would come back to bite him. Ma Cipriani still wanted to have his father reaction with things alongside the guy he tried to convince her that he was better.
Ma, you there?
I ain't talking to you no more, Tony. You shame your Sicilian roots. After you took that photo of Casa, he stopped paying his protection money. And what are you doing about it? Nothing. Your father would have turned him into meatballs by now. Casa might be a bit funny, but it takes guts to snub a Cipriani. I only wish you had his guts.
You wish I had Cass's guts? Okay, Ma, you asked for them.
Hi, Tony. How you doing? What's up?
You and me are gonna talk, Casa.
Hey, does your mom still like a spicy sausage? I can get her some, no problem.
Things would of course even show this being personal, more than just protection money, showing that toll that was on Tony.
Stand there and shut your yap, Casa.
Yeah, okay, Tony, but I don't feel comfortable. Hey, easy with that, Tony. It's the on switch for the...
Special sausage meat delivery? No one told me about this. Whoa! Which zoo did we knock off this time? There's loads of meat back here. Tasty. Okay, I'll take them. It's a good thing Casa ain't here. If he finds out about this, he'll go crazy.
But to be clear, Tony was doing all the right things in the underworld and for the Leones at this point, something his mother was even perceived to be proud about.
After what you did, you're like a son to me. Better than my son.
Better than any son. Your mother is a lucky woman. So I hear.
And as far as Tony going on a killing spree of sons back to back, in a way was the thing that showed him again uncomfortable with things. But things being so deep, it wasn't even brought up on the outside, of course.
Tony, how are you, my boy? You look a little thin. Isn't your mama feeding you right?
Oh, I'm good, Mr. Leone.
But for my C, it didn't matter because certain things, again, already existed by the time he came back, and probably before that, having to watch others' relationship. Meanwhile, again, it was nothing she could have to say as far as bragging rights. Mix that in with her being alone and never being seen, having to hear what she didn't have, that's simply being a recipe for disaster. So the closest thing she could do to make Tony have a certain glory in her eyes and for others, of course, is telling alone.
Ma, you there?
Tony? I'm just on the phone. Yeah, he's here now. Okay, I'll school him. Bye. Tony? Come to upset your mother again, huh? You spend all day playing the tough guy? You never come to see me. Or bring home any nice girls. But who'd want you anyway? You look so pasty and thin. You're trying to kill me with the shame and the worry. Well, no more. From this point on, we're through. I've called a hit on you. It's really the only way, Antonio.
What? Ma?
Putting a hit on him, again, was a twisted way of simply having a story on his behalf. Him getting killed being a win-win for her. His death could stop her shame and worry, alongside again being happy a hit was done. Saying that to say he would go out like how she would want, this bringing her satisfaction.
You were always a disobedient boy. It's for the best, son. At least try to die like a real man. Try to stop shaming me.
But down the line, as many know, what brought the two back was Toni becoming a capo regime, something the old hack could brag on.
Today's the day you're being made.
Oh, Salvatore, I missed the Leone.
Our mama's been waiting for this day.
Alongside Toni willing to never mind things, being he wanted the acceptance.
Toni Cipriani here.
Tony, it's your ma.
I just heard you've been made.
I never doubted you for a second, son.
And seeing as how you're finally proving yourself, I'm calling off that contract I put on you. Let's just put it behind us. After all, I only did it with your best interest at heart. What kind of a son makes his ma go to such lengths? See you soon, son.
Don't forget about your old ma.
So this would simply lead Toni C to actually move back in with her 3 years later. But of course things will still be the same, but for the wrong things. In 98, everything his mother had a problem with, by 01, he changed it. It being a problem he didn't live for and with her, again, he moved back in and led for her. Being too thin in her eyes, he got fat. And as far as his place in the underworld was shown to be telling as well. But again, these things weren't things that would actually help him. Instead, this was just attempts to please still. But before this, their relationship still again took a toll on him. Going to call on a radio show for attempts of advice, showing of course how unhappy he became, still wanting that acceptance.
Yeah? Is that Laszlo?
Yes, it is. Who's this?
My name ain't important. It's real unimportant, okay?
Yes. Why are you calling in today?
Because I need some advice. And I ain't doing any of that shrink shit.
If you swear again, we're gonna have to cut you off. This is a family show.
Sorry. I'm just a little unhappy, a bit agitated.
Real angry. It's my ma. She don't think I'm a real man. Can you imagine that? I mean, I do a man's job and all, but she treats me like a little boy. All I get is your pa this and your pa that, and you ain't a real man, Tony, and it's driving me freaking nuts.
Well, Tony...
Tony? How'd you know my name was Tony? You tracing this call? Cause if you are, you're gonna get real intimately acquainted with what your brains look like. My name ain't Tony, okay?
Okay.
But my mom, she keeps going, Tony, be a real man. Stand up for yourself. Don't take no shit. But all I do is to be a good son. And I want her to show that she cares for me. Show that she loves me. And, say I was a good kid. But it seems like nothing's ever good enough for her. You know what I mean? What do I do?
Well, sir, in life we have a lot of obligations, and we just kind of have to face up to them.
Making his mother part of his obligation in life, all he could really do was be tough.
This is Pop's capo, Toni Cipriani.
Yeah, I'm Toni Cipriani.
Take him to Mama's restaurant at St. Mark's, all right?
But even what was going on was the effect of him trying to be something to Ma Cipriani. On the way for him to again be tough, a triad ambush will happen. Their beef at this point being because him being sent off by his mother to kill members of the triads years before. It's crazy how her gripes was him not moving in because of triads members, just to move back in and them now being at war. And as we're going to see, still being berated.
Take a goddamn seat. So the laundry won't pay any protection, huh? The triads think they can mess with me? Let's teach these would-be tough guys what it means to be a tough guy.
Give him some respect. No son of mine gets up by some triads. Godfather,
sorry, Ma.
soul took no crap from no triads.
Yes, Ma.
Sicily.
And of course, still not being enough, stuck again, just being tough. His mother would even confirm her thoughts about him not changing.
Comes off making people bleed. Or trying to. He'll never be as tough as his pop. But he left you a note on the tangle.
At this point again, it was too deep to even be honest about on Tony's end.
Tony! How's your mama? She's a great woman, strong, Firenze.
She's good. Fine.
And Salvatore saying this about his mother simply would show her old school ways. Her being strong, she just wanted Toni to be strong, but that not really being a thing. And it wouldn't, of course, be a surprise to why notes started to be left for Clyde to read instead of being in her presence. Toni simply fell into the wants from his mother, leading him to lose whatever he wanted for himself. All things became, of course, was the same reason he even determined himself by how she looked at him.